And I'm honored now to be able to go live to Deir al-Balah, Gaza in Palestine, and talk to our friend and colleague Eyad Amawi, who is really one of the heroic Palestinian people, a steadfast man who has spent 24 hours a day over these 22 months, desperately trying to save as many lives as possible. Eyad, thank you for taking time out of what I know is a very difficult and busy day, as it always is for you. Thank you, my friend, for being here.
Thank you very much, my dear friends, Jeremy, and that's a great. Your description is really describe and give us a full view the ongoing issues here in Gaza. Maybe I will talk firstly. The catastrophe is ongoing here, really, but the main two things that changed within the last 24 hours. The first, if you remembered, the massacres against the gathered children and women. Those people seeking food supplement and some baby formula, and they hit them with the rockets, cause tens of casualties and martyrs. The second, yesterday committed against the children and civilians seeking sweet water from the water trucks, and they hit it and caused more casualties and martyrs. After that, the Israeli occupation forces mentioned this is committed some mistakes. This is not some mistakes. They intentionally need, as you mentioned, murdered people to increase the suffering and to really Gaza now is suffocating, burns. I will see something that all of us must be aware about the Israeli humanitarian plan. They shrank Gaza to the 60 square kilometers, and they push people with the repeated orders of evacuation, and they let people flee from their homes. The final chapter of this map is to let you flee from your tent. As you know, the tent is not a home, it's not a safe. There is no guaranteed shelter, and they force you to displace more and more from your tents. You leave your tents with the remaining needed things and the life needs in your tents and your clothes. Dua Abu Dagga is a famous journalist here in Gaza. When they invaded the Al-Mawasi green zone, as they mentioned before to the people here, and they completely cleansing the tents and demolishing everything there, Dua talk about she haven't anything, just her clothes and her baby's clothes, and she went to the unknown place, to the coastal area, and still waiting from more than 5 days to rescue them and to provide them with their needs. This is catastrophe. It's not random. They need to reshape the Gaza geographically, physically, and psychologically, and to let people here normalize these scenes, even though what's still talking about some progress in negotiation. As a humanitarian aid workers here, we touch something very important. They are reshaping the Gaza. They destroy all of the eastern region completely, and they push people to the restricted area with no initial needs that can meet our humanitarian needs. And the Israeli prevent any tents to come into the Gaza, and prevents any basic material that can be made by our hands, those local tents, and they prevent also these materials, the double usage criteria, and they put people in the coastal area in the summer conditions without foods, and they're starving us. The second point that increased the suffering, they put unbelievable struggles in the truck roads. They prevent anyone can serve in this humanitarian process, prevent any local volunteer to protect these trucks, and they mentioned that to the truck drivers multiple times. You must leave your trucks in the street and let people attack it. Those people are starved more than 100 days completely. There is no needs. We cannot expect systemizing people run with this huge thousands of people. They will attack again and again. So I mentioned in my new research about what the Israeli need to do with the humanitarian aid distributions process. They need to training our people to accept the chaos and accept engineering the chaos. If you need to eat, you must attack the trucks. If you need to eat, you must go to the GH warehouses and face the death. The warehouses of the GHF is until this moment they still functioning in the Rafah, especially. They suspend the distribution in the middle Netzarim corridor for the maintenance purpose. They mentioned that, but in my thoughts, they need to repeatedly training people to go to the Rafah time and time. You can normalize the scenes and you can accept entering to the military gates and do some inspections with the surveillance airplanes and the security checks and still waiting over the siege there and fences. And when you attack, you can get some amount of foods. After that, and nowadays, Netanyahu mentioned multiple times un-humanitarian citizens. I mentioned it is a mass detention camp in the Gaza. They will need, they hope that they will need make this town acceptable for all of the world. And they mentioned in the media and they put it as a negotiable statements to normalize the people and the international community to accept these statements. This is a big massacre that will committed over the Palestinians. They will need to murder all of the people here after they starved each one, after they cleansing and completely demolishing with the special demolition companies that related to the Israeli. They completely destroy the houses in the Rafah. And now they mentioned they can rebuild tents, mobile home, and provide Rafah with the humanitarian needs to help our refugees. It's a big fake. It's a big illusion. Illusion. They need to push people and flee people from the remaining parts of the Gaza Strip, from the northeast region to the southeast region. And the GHF rule now, it's not ending, but maybe they will announce they suspended their operation and transfer to the second phase if they succeeded to rebuild the detention camp in Rafah. This is a process.
Eyad, can I just
random? Yeah,
I just want to clarify because you're making an incredibly important point, and I just want to make sure people understand this. What you're referring to is that Israel Katz, the defense minister of the Israeli military, publicly announced the intention of building a concentration zone, a concentration camp, and he even said that they would begin construction on this during an initial 60-day ceasefire period. And they were not hiding the explicit intent of this. They wanted to force initially 600,000 Palestinians, many of whom have been displaced time and time again. They want to force them into this area. They say, oh, we're going to give them food, we're going to give them medicine, but they won't be allowed to leave. It is by definition a concentration camp. They will not be allowed to leave. Maybe they're going to give them food, maybe they're going to give them medical care. But the point is to treat them so that they can be deported, so that they can be sent somewhere else. And while they do this with these initial 600,000 Palestinians, they say that Israel is going to resume its genocidal war in the rest of Gaza. And they always portray it as we're going to be hunting Hamas, as though Hamas is a foreign force, not from the Palestinian people, that you can just tell on a corner, this is Hamas and that is Hamas. And what they're doing is they're sending a message right now to the Palestinian side that armed resistance is the only way to confront Israel. Israel is creating its own reality, and they've done this throughout history. Back in 2018, when Palestinians did the nonviolent March of Return, the Israeli snipers had a competition to murder Palestinians or to shoot them in the kneecaps to see who could shoot the most kneecaps of Palestinians. When Palestinians do what the world says, oh, be nonviolent, they shoot them, they kill them, they maim them. And so once again, they're saying, we're going to take 600,000 of you and put you in a concentration camp. Then we're going to go and we're going to try to murder all of the rest of you or force you into this concentration camp so we can remove you entirely.